Hey, what's up guys? Wanted to put a second video together showing you how I continue to do keyword research for these local sites in a little bit more of an automated process. The first video was just me going through how I manually check all these things, like whether or not the anchor text of the linking sites that are ranking have the keyword that we're looking for, if the domain is available, all the basic checks that you guys already know. But this one is going to be geared towards more how to automate this process a little bit better, because there were some of you that wanted to know how these other tools work. So initially I wanted to do Longtail Pro, but I can't get it to work on my Mac for some reason. So I'm going to do another one that I like, another software called Canine. It's web-based, and I actually like it a little bit better than Longtail Pro because I think it's less clunky than Longtail Pro, and it does a bunch of other cool things that you'll see happening. So before we jump into it, there's no secret formula for me picking these keywords. I normally like to stay within a certain niche that I'm comfortable with, and I normally operate right out of my backyard. So I'm from Houston, so I always hit Houston and surrounding areas. That's not to say you can't go into another city or state. And for the purposes of this, I'm going to show you how I would do analysis on keywords outside of my own state, so that it's more realistic. First, it starts with a seed keyword or industry that you want to go into. For me, I love healthcare, so I'm staying into it. And the way I came up with this seed keyword is I was driving down the highway a couple days ago, and I noticed that there were several billboards that were geared towards varicose vein treatments and varicose and spider veins and all that stuff, cosmetic treatment. So what I did was I Googled a little bit after that, and I discovered that varicose vein and spider veins are two totally different things, and that they're very high-end procedures that people do in offices, and it's a demand for it. So I decided to go after that. So anyhow, I also decided not to do Houston for this example. I'm going to do something like Miami, Florida. So what I would do is I come to this 5minutesite.com. This is the site that Rob shared, and I've actually used this for a while before. And I put in the zip code of the area that I want to target. And since I wasn't familiar with Miami, what I did was I came here and I searched for zip code Miami, Florida. Alright, and I came to one of these sites, and these sites actually had a map with a list of zip codes and cities, and I just picked one of these here. I think that's the one that I picked, and it's always easier to do this in your city, in my opinion, because you know what's around you. Like, for example, me, I know that I wouldn't target like a city like Bel Air, because first of all, Bel Air is a small city where I live in, or that's around Houston, and you can miss it if you drive by and blink it. So even though there's money there, the city of Bel Air really doesn't have these sort of businesses. It's really like you look out of the window, it's Bel Air, you look out of your other window and it's Houston, so it doesn't really make any sense. So it's always easier to know what's around you, which in my opinion makes this process a little bit harder when you're operating in a state other than the one you live in if you're not comfortable with your surroundings. Anyhow, I always do the zip code here. I always do around 20-mile radius, something more depending on what I'm doing, and I always uncheck include zip codes in my results because I don't want that. So what this is going to do is give me city and state, abbreviation of that, and abbreviation of results, and then I enter the term that I want to target. In this case, it's varicose vein treatment and spider vein treatment. Okay, I will click submit, and this tool will then generate all those results for me with those geos. So I'll copy this, and I'll go over to this comma separator online tool, and I think you can get that at optimization.asia. Paste that, move it over, and it puts it in a comma delimiter. Copy that, then go over to your Google Keyword Planner. The second option is where you're going to get volumes, and I'm only strictly checking for volumes here on these keywords, because I know some of you are like, oh my god, the sky's falling, this keyword doesn't have any volume according to Google. Well, we know that that's not true. We know that even though Google says that there's no volume in there, we know that there is, just from testing and building sites that people do come. And you're also not counting that Google is just Google. It's only telling you that according to them, they think there's not enough value or volume for this keyword, but you're not counting Google partners, and you're not counting Yahoo and Bing and other search engines in this tool right here. So keep that in mind. So I generate volume, and what this does is this tells me right out of the gate whether or not there's volumes for those keywords. So you can see that spider vein treatment Miami and varicose vein treatment Miami, it can generate 50 and then 40 more or less, and then varicose treatment Miami, Florida with the state abbreviation generates others, and then there's all these other states or all these other cities around Florida, around Miami, that I can target. Now with this data, if I wanted to target say if I wanted to create a big vein site or something around varicose veins and spider veins, I can build it out like a directory type site and target all these different cities and then just sell pages on that. But before we do that, let's go ahead and just take this for a second, and we're gonna copy and search for that. Okay, and then you can tell that there's ads here, so people are targeting that. And there's, on the first page, you really don't have, I don't see things that are optimized. This is manual what we did again. You have some edu blog and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now let's take one of these that actually have no volume. We'll take this one. Okay. Take it and we'll paste it in here, and again you can see more ads on the front and on the right hand side, and you can see that there's like other directories and so forth. Here's this one that stands out to me since I've already done this once. Varicose vein surgery near Opa Loca. You can tell that they tried to do something similar, where they have a directory type site and they list all these other things in here, and obviously you can actually snipe all these terms and create a site based on each one of these terms that you want. This is a pretty ugly looking site, so I'm sure we can come up with something nice and sell the crap out of this page. Anyhow, so now that you have your keyword terms there, I'm going to go to something called Keyword Canine. What I do here is I'll paste that term, okay, and I'll analyze that word. And this Keyword Canine tool is pretty neat because it's web-based. I don't require any proxies. I don't take up any resources. I'm running it on a VPS, which is, it comes with this tool. The VPS that I'm using comes with this tool and a whole bunch of other stuff. But once this is done, it gives you a quick snapshot of that keyword. Okay, so according to this, okay, you can tell from this screen here, it's just the equivalent of analyzing everything manually, but it's already done for you. For example, this keyword is very easy to rank for. It's 20 out of 100 scale. This KC rank is similar to the Longtail Pro KC rank, which is sort of like an average of page rank of all the pages on the first, of all the 10 results on the first page of Google. It tells you whether the domain exact match is available. It tells you whether there's search or whatnot. And then right here you can tell those first 10 results whether or not that phrase, this right here, is actually in the title, the URL, and the links. And you can tell that none of these have that. So this is actually an easy keyword to rank for. Okay, so let's go back in here and let's now do something like this one. There's some really aside from this keyword analyzer thing, there's a bunch of other cool features that Keyword Canine does. It allows you to like find niches that you normally wouldn't find or you wouldn't think about otherwise. It allows you to remove all the keywords that are really competitive, all the medium keywords that are competitive. It allows you to filter keywords just by like if this keyword had all the keywords that have Miami in it, I could filter out. So again, this one is also very easy. on a similar scale. You have some open domains here, EMDs. You have a search volume of 20. And then here we go, and we can see whether or not there is that keyword in the actual title. So here, vein removal locations, and doesn't have it in there. Doesn't have anything in there either. And based on all these, it determines whether it's easy, hard, or medium. And the other thing that's nice is when you highlight when it finds an authority site, it highlights it yellow, and it also bolds the anchor text if it finds it in one of these keywords. I'll show you what that looks like. And so what I do from here is, well, while we let this load, is I'll come in here, I'll download these things here, I'll download the whole thing, and then I'll repeat this process with another thing, like I don't know, a spider vein laser treatment or laser removal or something like that in here, and then I go back to the comma separator, and then I go back to Google and see if I can find any volumes if you're looking for that sort of stuff, but I don't really care about volumes, you already know that. And then I go to an Excel spreadsheet and I just remove all the extra columns that I don't need, and I end up with a nice list of keywords that actually have some sort of volume. And then I separate my keywords by keywords that have volume, keywords that don't have volume, and then I separate them by geo. So I have a set of keywords that will be like treatment, Hialeah, Florida. Another one would be just Hialeah, and another one would be just Florida. So I separate them like that, and then I analyze my keywords. So here you can tell that this keyword varicose vein treatment is super hard to rank for. Most of the EMDs are already taken. It gets 4,400 local searches, 5.4 CPC, and the average page rank on the top 10 results is 2.4. Okay, and this is actually hard to rank for because you have some authority sites right there. So that one right there is an authority site, highlights it yellow, and it tells you that here's the actual anchor text. And it also says at least three domains are linking with this exact anchor text. Okay, here's another one, varicose vein treatment. One domain is linking. Again, varicose vein causes treatment, WebMD. And you have some other one, varicose vein treatment. Almost all these sites have varicose vein treatment in the URL and in the title. And you have, exact anchor text going in here. And more than 50% of these sites are authority type sites. That's why this keyword is super hard to rank for. So this kind of makes the process a little bit easier because you don't have to go through all those checks. You don't have to go to Namecheap. You don't have to go to Majestic and look at the backlinks. It just kind of does all that for you. And if I wanted to explore more of this backlinks, I can just click this page here, and it'll this button here, and it'll tell me what that is. Okay. Here's like the primary anchor text of this page right there. So it's got page keyword title, it's got vein, varicose, and center in there, and then here are the actual links that are going to that page right there. So that's kind of cool. Anyhow, that's how I do keyword research in a little bit more of an automation type way. And what I like to do is I focus on a niche and then I niche down. So varicose veins is actually a sub niche. It is a procedure that's performed by a vascular surgeon, but I can also rank a site, labeled or geared towards vascular surgeons. I can say vascular surgeons, Miami, Florida, vascular surgeons, Hialeah, vascular surgeons, Opaloka, Florida. And then I can go into those sub niches and say, okay, well, what sort of procedures do these vascular surgeons perform? I can rank a site just on spider veins in different locations, or just on varicose veins, or a site that has both spider veins and varicose veins. And then on top of that, I can even go in there and do like, okay, how are veins removed? Well, some of them are removed surgically. So then I can say, surgical removal of spider veins or surgical removal of varicose veins. And then I can even go further and say, well, is there a way to treat them naturally, or is there a way to remove them with a laser? And then I can build a site around that. So essentially, I'm actually niching down and can have 3 or 4 different sites in one niche but niche down so much that I can totally rank and own an entire first page, or, you know, 3 different searches or 4 different searches on a sub niche of one keyword. That's how I do keyword research. That's how I'm able to dominate the local market with these keywords, and rank these sites like there's no tomorrow, because you have to think a little bit outside of the box, and actually niche down. Like, I would never build a site around, I don't know, working out. I would probably build a site around, like, okay, how do I gain muscle? And then I would build a site around, you know, how do I gain muscle with just barbells? And then how do I gain muscle with just lifting, or just doing squats? And then you're just niching down all the way to the point where you can build 4 or 5 sites at once and have them rank simultaneously, and then lease all the pages out or sell the site. Cool. Hope you guys found this valuable. Anyhow, ask me some questions if you have them. That's what we're here for. Oh, one more thing. I want to show you this thing here. If I go to this keyword analyzer thing, this keyword Canine, it's kind of cool. So if I go to niches, and then actually I want to use the niche tool, maybe not that. So I click on niche, and I want to analyze a whole bunch of keywords, right? I just use the big dog niche here. And what that does is it gives me like, right now it generated, you know, 10 million keywords, right? But these are all like one-word keywords, like Facebook, YouTube. Of course, it's going to generate those. You'll never rank for that sort of stuff. These are like the highest search terms, right? Like, you know, Twitter, CNN, that sort of stuff. What this does though, it allows us to like do keyword research and find niches without actually having to think about it. So if I want to do a word count of 4, I can actually filter these keywords out. Now all the keywords in here have 4 or more words in them, and I can even do volume, like how much volume I want these keywords to have. But let's just say these are pretty broad, but let's just say I want to go into like I don't know, real estate. Or let's just say I wanted to go into, I don't know, something else. Laser veins. Okay, now laser vein treatment for spider veins, varicose vein treatments, and I can even increase this to 5. And what I found out is that the more you increase them, the better your chances of finding, you know, good keywords are. But for the sake of this one, we'll just leave it at 4. And I'll click that, and let's just say laser vein treatment for spider veins. Okay, I'll click on this keyword, and I'll analyze that keyword. And what it does is that it takes that keyword and actually runs an analysis on that keyword and related keywords. So it gives you like an entire list of niche and sub niche that you can actually go into. Here we go. So you're looking for green. This means medium, and then red means a lot of competition, and then fire means fierce. So this is kind of cool. You can filter all these here. Laser treatment for spider veins on face. I don't know how competitive that is, but that's super long. If you click it, it analyzes for you, and then if you open it, you can see all the metrics behind it. That's actually very, but you can see like some of the easy ones that you can rank for right away. Spider vein laser treatment, you can rank for these right away. You know, stretch marks and other stuff. Laser treatment is actually competitive. You saw what that looks like. And so here, just with this stuff right here, I can tell, like, I have a whole bunch of keywords that I can just branch out and create like 3 or 4 different sites out of. So anyhow, that's gonna be it, man. I hope you guys like it. If you have any questions, let me know.